Hey friends, welcome to our chapter reading. Today we are starting a new book called The Trouble with Chickens. I wonder what that's going to be about. So this book is written by Doreen Cronin and illustrated by Kevin Cornell. So the author, Doreen Cronin, is who wrote the words, and the illustrator is who drew the pictures. So let's jump right into The Trouble with Chickens. This is the art on the inside cover page. And the dedication page says, for Lillian, John, Vince, and Marge, DC. For Kim, who holds my hand, Casey. And there's some more art. All right, chapter 1, Chicken Breath. It was a hot, sunny day when I met that crazy chicken. So hot that sometimes I think the whole thing may have been a mirage. But mirages don't have chicken breath, mister. She was a short, tired-looking bird with a funny red comb on her head. It looked about as useful to her as a spoon is to a snake. Her eyes were tiny and black, and set so close to each other they practically touched. I'd be surprised if the right eye could report back seeing anything other than the left eye. Chickens make me nervous. Can't keep them quiet. We stared at each other for an awkward moment. I nodded to tell her to move on. She picked up her left foot carefully, not sure whether she should back out of my sweltering doghouse. As her foot hung in midair, she lowered her pointy white head and very deliberately said, nothing. A phone rang. A car backfired, a blender roared, and that crazy chicken didn't blink. She was one tough bird. Chapter 2, Introductions. My name's Jonathan. Jonathan Joseph Tully, JJ for short. I spent 7 years as a search and rescue dog. The quiet life in the country where Barb, my trainer, lived was my reward for all those years of service. Some reward. I could track the 6-day-old scent of a lost hiker and pull a fat guy out from under a pile of rubble, but I couldn't get that crazy chicken out of my yard. I called her Moosh, just because it was easier to say and it seemed to annoy her. She had 2 little puffy chicks with her. She called them Little Boo and Peep. I called them Dirt and Sugar, for no particular reason. Moosh had got the word that I knew how to solve problems. Boy, did that chicken have problems. So there's her little chicks, Little Boo and Peep. I'll pay you in chicken feed, said Moosh. That was the chicken's first problem. I don't work for feed. No dice, I replied. Dirt and Sugar were bathing in my water bowl. I'll pay you in feathers. That was the chicken's second problem. I already got a pillow, I grumbled. Dirt and Sugar were playing in my food bowl. Crazy chicks. I was losing patience. I'll work for a cheeseburger, take it or leave it. Moosh's tiny chicken head cast a huge pointy shadow against the side of my weather-beaten doghouse. She took a step away from me, turning her head to glance at Dirt and Sugar. Those 2 feather balls jumped out of my water bowl and rolled around in the grass. They looked like they didn't have a care in the world, but their mom sure did. You can see him playing in JJ's water bowl. He doesn't look very happy about that. A passing cloud offered some uncertain shade from the sun. Moosh's big, pointy chicken shadow finally moved. Done, said Moosh. Well done, I cracked. I thought she smiled, but it's tough to tell with a beak. Chapter 3, Chicken Missing. Moosh paced back and forth. Dirt and Sugar followed behind her. As Moosh took a step forward, Sugar fell right into line behind her. I expect Dirt to do the same. For some reason, she waited 2 beats, then got into line. Dirt left enough space in between herself and Sugar to park a squirrel. I'm no chicken expert, but something wasn't right. Who's missing? I asked Moosh. The truth was somewhere between her brain and her beak. I sure wasn't sure that it would survive the trip. "Spill it, Moosh," I grunted. She was getting on my nerves. Dirt and Sugar stepped out from behind their mother. They were half yellow, half white, like fuzzy popcorn kernels with feet. They were new enough to this world to be spitting up eggshell. Their eyes were wide and young and close set like their mother's. Sugar cocked her head, stepped out from behind her popcorn sister, and motioned with one tiny wingette for Dirt to stay behind. Now they are walking behind their mom. And here's the space that JJ's talking about. A ladybug flew into the doghouse and crawled across the floor, oblivious to the chicken tension building in the room. I growled. Sugar peeped. I growled again. Sugar took a step closer, bracing herself against the water bowl. "Poppy and Sweetie are missing," she whispered. She may have looked fluffy and new, but this chick had already learned that life outside the shell was not all it was cracked up to be. And there she is. Chapter 4, Poppy and Sweetie. Poppy and Sweetie. Their names annoyed me too. But it wasn't time for more nicknames. Nicknames are only cute when your mother knows where you are. I had Dirt and Sugar take me to the last place they saw Poppy and Sweetie. It was just outside the chicken coop. I told the Fluffy family to stand still. I didn't have any of Poppy's or Sweetie's belongings to sniff, but I had their siblings. Close enough. I had no idea how hard it might be to track the scent if I found it. On the job, we call it probability of detection. POD for short. With no personal effects to sniff and no experience tracking poultry, the probability of detection in this case was low, very low. But now was not the time to burden a chicken mother's heart with a low POD. There's an easy way to do a search and a hard way. The easy way is early in the evening with a cool breeze and a steady partner. The hard way is high noon with a crazy chicken clucking in your ear and 2 feather balls riding your tail. This search was going to go the hard way. I had to give it to Moosh straight. Humans have a knack for finding themselves in places where they don't belong. Dark woods, cold snow, and deep canyons. Lucky for them, they stink. But I don't know from chickens, so don't get your hopes up. Moosh took a deep breath. She knew the score. In the harsh sunlight, her comb had lost its bright red luster. It was 4th of July weekend and the air was heavy. I got down as low as I could. The earth will hold on to your smelly secrets for a long, long time, and it will give them up to any dog who comes sniffing. Problem is, it gives up all its secrets at once. You have to be able to sniff through them to find the one you need. Bare feet, barbecue sauce, blueberries. It didn't take long to pick up on what I thought was a chicken trail. I followed it around the edge of the yard, under a pile of rotting wood, past the barn, and then across the open field. For all I knew, it could have been a chicken sandwich. Then something hit me in the eye. Hard. I stopped in my tracks. Moosh, Dirt, and Sugar were right behind me. When I looked up, I got hit again. It was rain. Hard rain. The kind of rain that makes grown men wear funny boots. I called off the search. Sugar was in my face. "Listen, Mutt, my brother and sister are missing and you're worried about getting wet." She was so close to me I could have bitten her in half. "Get lost," I mumbled. "Make like a sponge, mister." I had to hand it to Sugar. She was as tough as her mother. There's the backyard they're searching through. All right, friends, we're going to stop there for today. So join me back next time and we will read the next 4 chapters in this book, The Trouble with Chickens. See ya.